Dante's Boxing Nation.
What about Kell Brook?
Kell Brook?
He said 157 he'll fight you.
I think it's too small.
Too small?
Too small, yeah. You know, my focus on 160 in middle division right now. Kell Brook or everybody just trash talk, you know.
DONTAE'S Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, it looks like Erislandy Lara, he started a trend when he posted this Photoshop picture of Golovkin standing next to Kell Brook, and he has Brook looking like David while Golovkin looks like Goliath. Coincidentally enough, that's the story of this fight. For those of you guys who know by now, Kell Brook, he's a welterweight champion moving up 2 weight classes to fight against the middleweight champion, Gennady Golovkin. But not only is Gennady Golovkin a middleweight champion, he's one of the most devastating punchers in the sport of boxing right now, which truly makes this a case of David versus Goliath in real life. A lot of people have said that Kell Brook is too small, including Gennady Golovkin himself. So following Erislandy Lara posting this picture, Chris Eubank posted the picture as well. For those of you guys who don't know, Chris Eubank, he was in heavy negotiations with Gennady Golovkin, and originally we were supposed to be seeing Golovkin versus Chris Eubank. Instead, we got Golovkin versus Kell Brook because there was a fallout in negotiations. So this is what Chris Eubank had to say to Gennady Golovkin on his Instagram. Quote, "Gennady, when you're done with the child's play, I'm ready and waiting to take those belts off you in a real fight. Oh, and I'm in the same weight class as you, so it will be fair. Hashtag fraud, hashtag say no to bullying." Now, I think a lot of us would agree that Golovkin versus Chris Eubank probably would have been a little bit more of a test for Gennady Golovkin because they are in the same weight class. You have a fighter like Chris Eubank who possesses power, and he has the confidence of an undefeated fighter. But that fight didn't happen. Once again, I know that Chris Eubank's father is definitely tough when it comes to negotiations. We really don't know what happened in negotiations. All I know, I heard Abel Sanchez, he told me that they were difficult, very difficult to deal with. Eddie Hearn, he even said something similar to that. Matter of fact, I don't know how true this is, but I talked to Abel Sanchez, did an interview with him, and he told me that Kell Brook, he accepted the exact same deal that was offered to Chris Eubank, and he accepted it in seconds. So it wasn't like a drawn out process with Kell Brook is the point they're trying to make. With that all being said, if Gennady Golovkin is successful against Kell Brook, I would still like to see Golovkin versus Chris Eubank. Once again, you have fighters like Danny Jacobs, who said that he'll be ready after he fights Sergio Mora. I know before he said that, he was sounding a little reluctant to get in the ring with Gennady Golovkin. So the question once again is, if Danny Jacobs is not fighting Golovkin after this Kell Brook fight, we know BJ Saunders is not going to fight Golovkin. If Golovkin can't get either of those guys, then the next option would be Chris Eubank. Of course, Erislandy Lara has always been an option and should have been the main guy that Golovkin should have pursued. Now, when I tell you guys that I want to see Golovkin versus this guy or that guy, when I say I want to see these fights, I'm not saying I want to see these fights because I believe these guys are all going to beat Golovkin. No, even if I favor Golovkin to win a fight, I still want to see the fight. For example, if Golovkin fought Lara, I would most likely lean towards Golovkin to win the fight, but I still want to see the fight. I want to see if Golovkin can, inflict more damage and maybe even knock out Erislandy Lara. Do something to Lara that has never been done before. Same thing with him moving up in weight and fighting Gilberto Ramirez. Golovkin may win that fight, but I would love to see it because it would be a hell of an accomplishment for Golovkin to move up to a higher weight class and knock out those guys the way he's knocking out these middleweights. The reason why I clear that up is because I heard or I seen some comments in the comment section where some fans were saying, hey Dante, you said in order for you to beat Golovkin, you have to fight him on the inside and you have to smother his punches and etc. etc. So you're contradicting yourself if you want to see him fight Lara. No, I'm not contradicting myself at all, because I never said that I only want Golovkin to fight guys that I know he will lose to. I've never said that. I want to see Golovkin be tested. That's what I want to see. It doesn't matter who wins. I want to see him tested. I want to see him step up in competition. I want to see him deal with adversity. And let me also say this. When it comes to a blueprint to beating Gennady Golovkin, there are many different ways you can beat someone. What I was saying is one of the ways you would have a very good chance of beating Gennady Golovkin and getting his respect is if you try to walk him down, if you stay close to him. Why do I say that? Because Gennady Golovkin, he's a mid-range hooker. There's a misconception when it comes to Gennady Golovkin's fighting style. Because of the fact that Golovkin is aggressive and he is a pressure fighter, that doesn't necessarily make him an inside fighter. He's not an inside fighter. He is a pressure fighter. He is a mid-range hooker. So what that basically means is, a lot of times, like we seen in the Willie Monroe fight, if you stay close to him, he cannot get full extension on his punches. Therefore, you're taking a little steam off of the power. Now, yes, you have a very good chance backing him up or just fighting him at close range. But if you were to mix that up with foot movement as well, that would help confuse him, as long as you're mixing up the attack with some inside aggression. Now, just because I say this is the best way to beat Golovkin, it doesn't necessarily mean when Golovkin does lose, that's going to be the way he's going to lose. For all we know, he may lose getting caught with an outside long-range right hand from anyone, right? Someone may catch him with a right hand right down the pipe, and that could either end it or take away all of Gennady Golovkin's confidence to where he starts to gradually concede throughout the fight. Now, I think it was Martin Murray that did show if you had some foot movement, but with the amount of power to get Gennady Golovkin's respect, you could win some rounds using foot movement. See, this is the reason why someone like an Andre Ward or even a Demetrius Andrade, they would be real perfect opponents to use as examples and blueprints to possibly have a chance of beating Gennady Golovkin. Because both of those fighters, one thing about them is they can both fight on the inside and on the outside. They can fight on their front foot and the back foot. But Andre Ward, he's on a little bit more of a higher level when it comes to different styles. Because Andre Ward, not only can he get on the inside, but he can smother you and walk you down from the inside. And then after he starts walking you down on the inside, he can get right back on his feet and start to confuse and frustrate you to set up another attack. So don't get the message misconstrued. You can definitely use footwork in the ring to beat a style like Gennady Golovkin. You just have to get his respect in between you using that great footwork or great ring generalship. Now, when it comes to Chris Eubank, he's no Andre Ward, but he does have some good footwork and he does have power. He can also fight you on the inside. He has a great uppercut that would be a great weapon against Gennady Golovkin, because it's not Kell Brook power, it's middleweight power. Now, I know Kell Brook, he would disagree with me on that assessment and tell me, no, you're going to see surprising middleweight power when I get in the ring with Golovkin, but that's yet to be seen. But going back to Kell Brook, he has great uppercuts on the inside. He's also good at tying you up and, forcing you to reset as well. So, we'll see. We'll see if that fight takes place, but it will be an interesting fight. So that's pretty much all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.